and development is vital to the success of organizations, which impacts the growth of nations. This was the thrust of the 2016 Talent Management and Leadership Development Conference in Lagos, which focused on the theme, Leading Through Learning. Resource person Femi Mawaye, Managing Partner Process and Strategy, gave insight on the value of a learning organization.
We must be willing to experiment, otherwise we can't innovate and we can't grow. We always talk about speedy growth in so many other countries and how we see, oh, there's so much improvement happening in these countries. It's because they are willing to experiment. So we must create forums for our people where they can experiment. What then should a learning organization consist of? What are those things that we must see if we know that we are creating a learning organization? And I promise you, none of these elements are easy. You can actually have an entire team working tirelessly for months and years to create one single one of these indices and create them well. An enabling culture. And we all know how difficult it is to change culture. We say no finger pointing. It shouldn't be a blame environment. Because once you have that, there is no learning happening. Sometimes you want to create something new and you want to throw in an incentive. And you want to say to them, oh, whoever is able to come up with ABC gets X. Yeah? And X doesn't have to be money. So there must be processes that support your effort at creating an enabling environment or a learning organization. Great leadership that is committed to learning. Not leaders who say, yes, let the people go and learn, and let us remain in the same position. So it starts from the top. And this is where training comes, focused training and development. And sometimes when we talk training and development, we focus purely on the classroom one. And we forget the real learning that actually occurs on the job. When we throw people into secondments, when we help them to job shadow other people, when we do whatever it is, that job rotations, whatever it is that helps them to learn beyond what they do on a day-to-day basis. Peer learning. So, the three of them are in the same team, and they're working on the same project. Some organizations, you would actually find out that it suddenly becomes a competition amongst the three of them. Madam A is not sharing anything with Mr. B, and Mr. B refuses to actually even let Miss C walk anywhere near him. There's lesser value derived on that project. The one thing that is suffering is the project. There's lesser value derived from it when they don't engage in peer learning. And finally, knowledge sharing. That is the one area where many of us, still falter in this environment. We have not yet created adequate processes that help to document things and that help to share information and knowledge with other people. So, if there's anything that I'm leaving with us today, it is for us to look at these 6 elements and say to ourselves, if we want to create a learning organization, what can we improve? Which of these areas can we improve in our organizations so that our people and the overall organization will be better for it?
Key stakeholders, facilitators, and speakers spoke on the essence of the summit, powered by the Learning and Development Network International.
This is a 2016 Talent Management and Leadership Conference of the LDNI. LDNI being the Learning and Development Network International. This is what we always envisaged, but a little much better than the results have been very stimulating. The discussions have been very, very open. And we're glad at the level of participation. This has been a very successful conference by our measure. And we're glad because we're looking forward to mining ideas. We want to see ideas that will flow, not just for personal development, but for organizational development and national development as well.
I must commend the organizers of this conference because this is the first time that learning, those of us within the learning space are coming together and having conversations, around the work of learning and hearing people speak, about learning. Usually learning is subsumed under human resources, and so they will have the HR conference, and then on the side maybe you will have the learning people. But with this conference, at least it gives the profile that learning, should have in organizations.
The whole idea behind LDNI is to create a platform for professionals, service providers, and main users of learning and development to come together, interact, and think about how to raise the level of the business. That also involves things like creating opportunity for continuous learning for experts in that area, and opportunity for them to up their games in terms of practice standards, in terms of access to information, access to a resource, and also for networking. If you have a program and you need an expert in A and an expert in B, this is a network through which you can know who is who, and you can tap into other people's resources without actually putting them on your payroll.
I think it's a good thing to have a forum where professionals of learning can actually meet and talk about how to move this forward. And I think the reason for that is because there's a lot of people who call themselves learning professionals who really are not professionals. So I think it's a good thing to have a body that begins to regulate, what they do and how they can affect the economy.
I have to confess that it's my first time, so this is the first impression. I see a very good turnout. It's been a much better turnout than I expected. Even with the interactions and level of questions that have been asked, I can tell that we have some very good professionals amongst us who are interested in learning and also the discipline of learning within an organization. So it's first impressions, it's been a very good one. I felt very much at home, like I was amongst professionals. So it's been a very good one.
My expectations are high. I like to see this organization grow to become the dream we've always had and even surpass that expectation. I think we are on the right track.
There is a strong nexus between learning and organizational effectiveness. It is expected that from the LDNI Nigeria 2016 Summit, organizations will begin to experience remarkable transformation through the people, service delivery, and attitude of the brands.